The Cleveland Browns have Deshaun Watson making $230 million fully guaranteed. They ended up losing 33-17 to the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott did not play great. He had a 59% completion percentage, 179 yards, 1 touchdown, no pick, passer rating 85.3 in the 33-17 win. I would like to know, though, what was your biggest takeaway from Sunday's game and Tom Brady's broadcasting debut?
I would say I'll turn this back to you with a question.
Okay.
It's my most important point of this segment. Is Deshaun Watson a bust?
I think that is without question, and it has to now be without argument. He has fallen off the face of the earth. I would say, yes, he is a bust.
Yeah, he hasn't played well since he becoming a Brown. He has had some injuries, and his offensive line is nothing special, that's for sure. And Nick Chubb wasn't in the game, so maybe we're being a little too hard on him. But, man, he did not look good. He had, he was 24 for 45, 169 yards, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. And he just he was not comfortable out there. He was jumping around in the pocket. He never got a rhythm going. Their offense just looked terrible. And, maybe a lot of that had to do with the Dallas defense because it was suffocating. It was smothering the Browns at every level. Micah Parsons, a one-man wrecking crew. 1 sack, could have had several more. Eric Kendricks also had a great game, especially against the run. Trayvon Diggs, 1 interception and almost had 2. Marvarion Overshawn, who was a rookie last year, had an ACL, couldn't play. It was tackling up the field, spying Watson, taking time and space away from him. The Dallas defense, just fantastic. And you know what? I think one of the secrets there is their new defensive coordinator, Mike Zimmer. He is, I think he's a special coach. I mean, he was the Minnesota's head coach for a few years there, and they let him go. And now I think it was a smart move for Dallas to pick him up. He looks great. One thing I'd say about Micah Parsons, he was out there making a statement. I think he's maybe a little miffed. He hasn't gotten his big contract yet. They're both Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb now getting the big contracts. Dak Prescott's announced on the Sunday, 4 years, $240 million. The first $60 million quarterback, the highest paid player in NFL history, out there throwing for 179 yards and 1 TD, but a quarterback rating that was right up there among the leaders. He managed the game well. He didn't make mistakes. They won big. They won 33-17, and I think that says it all. And they had a touchdown on special teams, and I just think Dallas, I think they're a stronger team than I gave them credit for. I did pick them in this game, and I didn't think the Browns were going to win because I didn't think Deshaun Watson was going to play well, and I was right about that. I did think, where was the Browns defense? They're supposed to be a world-beating defense. I mean, they gave up 26 points. Special teams gave up a 60-yard punt return to Turbin. I think the Browns weren't ready to play.
Well, you tell where's the Browns defense? Dak Prescott did not, completely blow the doors off him. Under
26 points.
Yeah, but under 60% completion percentage, under 180 yards, only 1 touchdown.
Over 80 QBR.
Right. But what I'm saying is that Dak Prescott did not put up like 300 yards and multiple touchdowns. He did have a very nice touchdown throw to Brandon Cooks falling backwards. That was impressive. But overall, Dallas did a great job on defense and kind of on offense. I give their offense maybe a C+. Their defense gets probably a B+ to an A-. But I'm going to focus basically my entire monologue on one guy, Deshaun Watson. Would you believe that the quarterbacks on the field combined for $461 total $1 million amongst 2 players? Guaranteed money. Basically $500 million for 2 players. Deshaun Watson has fallen off a cliff. There is no redeeming quality of Deshaun Watson anymore for the Cleveland Browns. The unfortunate part, though, if you do want the Browns to get off of Deshaun Watson, is they're screwed cap-wise, money-wise. If they decide to release him before June 1st this upcoming offseason, it would cost him $172 million in dead cap. But you might be thinking, well, that's the pre-June 1st. Most teams release their players post-June 1st. Okay, that's still $99.83 million of dead cap. They're screwed. This was, I said this several times on the show. Desperate teams do desperate things. You kicked Baker Mayfield out there for Deshaun Watson, and yes, he did have a very nice last year with Houston. But then he had that issue and got suspended for 11 games. And now, what's left of Deshaun Watson? He's had a sub 60% completion percentage, nearly a 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio in 13 games played. There's nothing the Browns could do for there's nothing Deshaun Watson could do for the Browns anymore. And by the way, this was a pretty historic game for Deshaun Watson. He went 0 for 10, passing 15-plus air yards or more. It was the worst offer on those throws by any quarterback in a game since 2006 when air yards were first tracked. That's from Doug Clawson on X. Would you believe that? Deshaun Watson is garbage. And the reason why, and by the way, I have no idea why the Browns were favored in this game. I understand they were the home team, but look at the two teams. Deshaun Watson does not play very well. And you could look at the 5-1 record last year and say, okay, at face value, yeah, he went 5-1. Great. It's a very, very nice record. Dig a little bit deeper. They had the most carries in the NFL during that 6-game span. And Nick Chubb was a massive part of that offense. They didn't have Nick Chubb. This was my only Harvey hot hand win. Because I thought Jerome Ford could not put up the same production and help out Deshaun Watson as much as Nick Chubb could do. And I was bang on accurate with that. There is no redeeming quality anymore for Deshaun Watson. There just isn't. There's a lot of upside. There's a lot of history behind it. He's had a couple of nice games with Houston, a lot of good games with Houston, but in totality, the way he looks now, it's not good. They're stuck with him, and they have to deal with him for the next couple of years.
QBR 9.3.
No, he was garbage. He was actually terrible. And you could blame the offensive line, but I'm not, because of the fact that, yes, first of all, the offensive line for the Cleveland Browns is rated as a top 10 offensive line. But this is Deshaun Watson, with or without playing Dallas. Mm-hmm. This is how he is. Before this game, he had a sub 60% completion percentage and looked poor. And now after this game, sub 60 completion percentage and still looks poor.
Mm-hmm. The Browns had 1 first down in the first half. Watson looked pedestrian. Throws sailed over receivers' heads. Without Chubb, no run game to support Watson. Browns' offense isn't good enough. That's the bottom line. Where was the Browns' defense? It gave up 26 points. Where was the Browns' special teams? They gave up a 60-yard punt return to Turpin. One other point, just the final point I'd like to make. Sure. The Dallas field goal kicker, Brandon Aubrey. He made 4 field goals, 2 of them 50 yards and 57 yards. He also made a 66-yarder
would have tied
the longest in NFL history. That didn't count because of the delay of game call, which was unbelievable. How could they let that happen? And for Aubrey, how bad is that? I mean, he could have tied the NFL history.
Yeah.
66-yard punt. And he was ready to try to kick a 71-yarder, but they wouldn't let him do it.
I
think they should have let him try it.
Because there was still some distance between that 66-yard field goal.
He did that with an inside that stadium is indoors. And he kicked that field goal like that. That is, sometimes you get a tailwind, right? He had nothing. That was a dead air ball. He kicked it 66 yards. It had plenty of room. It could have gone. Maybe it might have gone in at 71 yards. I'm not sure, but
I would have let him try.
I would have let him try it too.
Why not?
I think they were worried. How much time was left? There wasn't much. It was just maybe a few seconds.
There's 2-3 seconds.
I think they were worried. They had a receiver back there. Brady mentioned that. He said, you got a receiver back there. You got to watch that. So they decided not to do it. But wow. That guy's good.
Yeah, Brandon Aubrey is incredible, but all around. The Cowboys, their offense wasn't great, but I'm sure they'll bounce back. They got to get into rhythm. CeeDee Lamb hasn't been out there at all during the offseason, holding out for that contract, which he got. I think they got to get used to that brand new offensive line. It caused Dak a little bit of trouble, but all around, the fact that there was no turnovers from Dak Prescott, who 2 years ago played 12 games and led the league in interceptions, I think that's definitely a positive sign. Is the bounce back MVP redemption year started? I don't think so, but could it be coming? I hope so. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now.
If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.